Students, now we are going to learn the process of digestion of food in detail. This process of conversion of complex food substances into simple absorbable form is called as a digestion. Digestion is completed by a mechanical and chemical process. Now we will learn buccal cavity. The buccal cavity performs two major functions, that is mastication of food and facilitation of swallowing. The saliva secreted into oral cavity contain electrolytes like sodium, potassium, also enzymes, salivary amylase and lysoenzymes. The chemical processes of digestion is initiated in the oral cavity by hydrolytic action of carbohydrate splitting enzymes, the salivary amylase. About 30% of starch is hydrolyzed by this salivary amylase at optimum pH 6.8 into disaccharide maltose. Lysozymes present in saliva act as an antibacterial agent that prevent the infection. Teeth and tongue with the help of saliva masticate and mix up the food thoroughly. Mucus in saliva helps in lubricating and adhering the masticated food particles into a bolus. The bolus is then enter the pharynx and then into esophagus by swallowing. The bolus further passes down through the esophagus by a successive waves of muscular contraction known as a peristalsis. The gastroesophageal sphincter controls the passage of food into stomach. Then we will learn stomach. The process of digestion inside the stomach. The mucus of stomach has a gastric glands. The stomach stores the food for about 4 to 6 hours. The food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice of the stomach by churning the movement by the churning movement of its muscular wall, which is known as a chyme. The proteolytic pepsinogen on exposure to hydrochloric acid gets converted into active enzyme pepsin. Pepsin is one of the proteolytic enzyme. It converts the proteins into peptides. Then next point is the mucus and bicarbonates. This mucus and bicarbonates which are present in the gastric juice plays an important role in lubrication and protection of the mucosal epithelium inside stomach. Renin is a proteolytic enzyme found in the gastric juice of infants which helps in digestion of the milk proteins. Next is the small intestine. The bile, pancreatic juice and intestinal juice are the secretions released into the small intestine. The muscular layer of the small intestine helps in mixing up of the food with various secretions inside the intestine, which thereby facilitate the process of digestion. The pancreatic juice contains inactive enzymes, trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, amylase, lipases and nucleases. The bile which release into duodenum contain bile pigments like bilirubin and bile salts also, cholesterol, phospholipids, but enzymes are absent. This bile helps in emulsification of fats. The meaning of emulsification of fats is breaking down of the fats into very small micelles. Bile also activates lipases. The intestinal mucosa, the intestinal mucosal epithelium has a goblet cells which secrete mucus. The intestinal juice contain a variety of enzymes like maltase, dipeptidase, lipases and nucleosidase. The mucus along with the bicarbonates from the pancreas protect the intestinal mucosa from the action of acid. It also provides an alkaline medium, that is pH 7.8 for the enzymatic activities. The pancreatic juice acts on the chyme reaching the intestine. Now, we will see the reactions which takes place inside the small intestine. So, partially hydrolyzed proteins which reaches towards the small intestine are converted into dipeptides by the action of enzyme trypsin and chymotrypsin. Carbohydrates in the chyme are hydrolyzed by the pancreatic enzyme amylase, and these carbohydrates get converted into the disaccharide maltose. Then fats broken down with the help of bile into fatty acids and glycerides. Nucleases like DNase, RNase in pancreatic juice act on nucleic acid to form nucleotides and nucleosides. The simple substances thus formed are absorbed in the jejunum and ileum region of the small intestine. Next is the large intestine. No significant digestion activity occurs inside large intestine. The undigested and unabsorbed substances are passed on the large intestine. The undigested and unabsorbed substances are passed on to the large intestine. The function of large intestine are absorption of some water, minerals and certain drugs. Also secretion of mucus which helps in adhering the waste, that is the undigested food particles together and lubricating it for an easy passage. The undigested unabsorbed substances known as a fecus. This fecus enters into the cecum of large intestine and removed out by the anus. So, children, this is all about in detail the process of digestion of the food material in human beings. Thank you.